So we're heading south. Our destination is the southern coast of Portugal. It's about...
Going where the fair winds blow, our home is where the waters flow. We'll show you what we've come to know on board while sailing wisdom.
We are planning to leave Varzim and Porto area and everything on Friday, which is the day after tomorrow, which means we have a lot to do between then and now. Herby's going to go up the mast as he always does before a voyage. So he's putting on sunscreen and he's going to be doing what?
Yeah, so first off, I'm doing a full rig inspection from the masthead all the way down to the bottom. Check everything. And that's a standard that we do every time we head offshore. And the second thing I'm going to be doing is replacing 3 cracked toggles that we have. So we actually sailed from the Azores to here knowing we had 3 cracked toggles because there was no way we were going to get the size that we are because it's a imperial size in a metric country, in a metric island. So we just took it easy and sailed here knowing that those things were cracked, so we tried to keep the stresses on them low. And now we're here and we have replacements and I'm going to be putting them in.
So you guys are going to be traveling up the mast with Herby as he does all these things, and meanwhile I'm doing a ton of laundry and cleaning this place up because it needs to be ship shape before we head out.
This is a good workout. Okay, so we're at our first inspection point. So to keep me here, I just pull up some tail on my gat line and I just tie a knot in it. And that takes the tension off. Off of my harness so I can breathe a little easier. And then I can let go and take a look. So here I'm just checking all the toggles, checking for any chafe, any signs of cracks, all that good stuff. So if you guys are wondering how our synthetic rigging then attaches to the mast, this is the system. You have the synthetic stay comes up, it goes to a little thimble, which goes to a toggle, which goes to the tang, which is then bolted through the mast. And if you look, you can see this bolt pops out the other side. That's through bolted through the mast with a nice big compression post that runs through it. Sorry about the shakiness. It's actually really, really rolly in here. So it just makes it extra fun. The lowers are all looking good. Our main work is actually going to be at the inner forestay and the check stays, because those are the ones that have cracked toggles. And those are the only toggles on our mast that are made out of stainless steel and are cracked, because bronze doesn't suffer from that issue. So if you have the option between bronze and stainless, always choose bronze. Always have a safety line tied around the mast. That way you can't go swimming far from the mast. And second, hook your feet. Hook your feet around the mast, because your legs can hold on really well as the boat swings around. That way you don't go flying, because flying away from the mast is fine. Nothing happens there. It's when you swing back into the mast that you're gonna have a really bad day. Okay, we're up at the masthead, and this is why we come up. Right in there, those little legs are too close together, and the cotter pin's upside down, so it could literally just slip right out, and then the headstay comes down. So that is why we come up every time. When you're out there and it's shimmying and jiggling around, your stay falls, and then your mast can come down. And when you don't have an engine and you're just electric and your main propulsion is sail, well, now you got some serious problems out there. So, our headstay. This is service to keep it protected from chafe from the head of the sail, which is one of the highest chafing points. And then we have a thimble to to a toggle that's made out of bronze, to a stainless steel tang, to the truck. And that is how our head sail hooks on there, or the head stay hooks on. The back stays the same, but just on the back of the mast. So you have the stay that goes to the clevis pin with the thimble and the ice place, goes to a tang, goes to the mast. That's it. All right, so everything up here is looking good. So we're gonna start making our way down. Our lazy jacks died. A most glorious death. They shredded and wrapped around everything. All right, that is on.
Alright, we've been going back and forth a lot about when to leave. We were going to leave yesterday, but the winds were a little bit too strong. Today we were going to leave earlier and then we didn't, and now we're thinking this is the time because the winds are pushing us straight out of the slip. It's slack water, so it'll be the easiest time to maneuver through the marina because it's also high tide. And there are a lot of beautiful, expensive boats around us, and that's just going to have to be, we're just going to be really careful about it. So the worst part about leaving is leaving the marina itself. The inlet is super short, so we're not too concerned about it, although inlets are always kind of a scary thing. But as soon as we're out, and we're really excited. We're ready to go. Hatches are battened down. Our rings are off. We take off our rings. It's actually a really important point because you don't want your rings to get caught in a line or smashed or anything like that because you can easily lose a finger and or your ring. Therefore we have these, I have this little silicone one, and Herby just takes his off. And now we're gonna start the lengthy process of untying the billions of dock lines we have out right now. Well, that absolutely sucked. It's not the worst thing we've ever had happen to us, but as we were leaving, we realized that one of the motor controllers is throwing a code and just not working. So we were unable to turn to starboard at all, which meant that we could not get out of the marina. And luckily there were some extremely nice and extremely helpful people who are our neighbors here who helped us out a lot, and we are now tied up to a different dock. And we had to email the electric yacht people to figure out what is going on with our motor. So things that diesel motors would never have happen. This is one, but you know, here we are. So it looks like we're spending another night here after all. So as far as diesel versus electric, when problems arise with diesel motors, you know right away because you have to warm it up, and if something's wrong, it just won't make noise or it won't make the right noise. Well, we didn't know something was wrong with our electric motor until we were out of the slip, and just simply couldn't get the propulsion to turn to starboard in the wind that we had. So We were completely unaware that there was a problem at all until it was too late.
Our electric motor actually is made up of 2 motors. One of them is working and one of them is not working. So I talked to the manufacturer and they said to try and switch some cables around and then tell them what happens with that. It's kind of to troubleshoot it. So I'm going to do that right now. And then hopefully if that works, then we're in business. If it doesn't work, we're going to leave anyway as soon as the winds calm down. So around dawn, because we're not leaving this place in the dark because way too narrow, too many rocks.
Broken wing, it didn't last a spring. You shoved me out before the nest was cold. I couldn't fly, but God, I tried. I hit the ground and I was on my own, alone in a big blue land with only my legs to stand and no one to lend a hand or to pick me up. I see the sky where you would fly. I would wait for you so patiently.
So we never figured out the problem with the motor. The guy that we had to email, who knows the stuff, he never got back to us. So we ended up leaving on a very calm morning, which happened to be the very next morning, at around 7 a.m., right at sunrise. It was a beautiful sunrise. And we're out. We made it because it was so calm that we could make it with very little thrust. We had no problems at all. It was very smooth. So now we are getting the sails up. Herby's getting the dock lines all squared away, put away, and we're just heading southwest, away from land and towards Algarve. Sea salad. Fenders are all up. Now we're going, we're gonna put up Monty, our main. Gonna go full Monty.
Currently underway. We've got everything set up. Wendy is steering. Everything's working. It's all working well. I'm very happy with this. So we're heading south. Our destination is the southern coast of Portugal. It's about 300 and change miles away, so we're thinking maybe 4 days at sea. And then we'll be anchoring in a much warmer place. And warm is the important part.
We're having great sailing right now. Kind of looks like we're headed for a blow, but we're just thankful for what we have right now in this moment. And that is sailing.
We have dolphins! Dolphins! So fire is never a good thing on a boat, and we just had a little scare because out in the cockpit I smelled a lot of smoke, and Maddie smelled it inside, which means that the fire could have been in the boat. Should have been bad. So we went all through the boat, everything deep down in the bilge, near things that could be on fire. There was no smell of it, and outside it reeks of smoke. Now there is a breeze blowing from shore out into the ocean right now, which is why we left today. And Portugal is having a big issue with just wildfires. So sadly, I think it might be a fire on shore that's just blowing out the sea. Today, if it were a little warmer, would be categorized as my favorite days of ocean sailing. So there's a light, gentle breeze. We could be full sail, but we're not, because we're actually beating into the wind right now. So if we go full sail, then we go faster, and then we pound into the waves, and it's just not our cup of tea. So we're reefed down, the boat's hardly heeling, we're moving along at like 3 to 4 knots, just nice and gracefully through the water. Everything's relaxed. It's the best. I absolutely love days like today. So we're currently coming up on the continental shelf of Portugal. So the water depth goes from about 300 feet to 3,000 feet.
I'm eating peanuts.
Are you? Are you eating peanuts?
Where'd it go? Seriously?
Where did it go, Madge? Oh, there it went.
Oh. We have completed our first day back out here at sea, and it was a gray day. At least we had wind, and we were able to get away from shore, so that's good, so we don't have to really worry too much tonight. It's our first time sailing with AIS, where we actually transmit, and it is a game changer. We love it. We love being able to just go onto Navionics and see all the boats around us and all of their information and everything. So, and we love knowing even more that they can see us. So that's been a really, really great thing so far. And just had dinner and are gonna begin the night watches. I have been struggling with seasickness again. It's not as bad as last time, but I did throw up and took a Dramamine, so I'm gonna be kind of down for the count in a bit when that kicks in. But I've been out here for a few hours, so it's my turn to sleep anyway. It's a really, really dark night tonight because there is a very thick cloud covering, which is making everything super gray and during the day and super black at night. So not very good visibility, but at least we know that our stern light works this time, as well as our bow lights, and we're good. So we're able to fall off a little bit because the winds are clocking around and we're not having to beat so much. Feels good just to stand up. Well, the weather's finally warm enough that the rigging can handle our jib job.
It's gone. Like, it's down. There's about 3 fibers left of the 12. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.
And if you'd like to follow our journey in real time on a map, receive postcards from our ports of call, and message us directly to the boat, you can go ahead and become a patron using the link in the description down below.